and you're listening to Homeschool Unrefined, the podcast where we keep homeschool simple, real, and fun.
And this is Angela. You've got episode 96, where we follow their interests. We are going to talk about that in a few minutes. First, we want to say hi to all of our listeners. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. We love doing this every week. We're here every Monday in your earbuds, and we're just really enjoying this part of our day that we get to do this. And a special hello to our Patreon supporters. If you are interested in getting some extra episodes from our other podcast called Off the Record, you can go to patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined.
We are loving that as well. So much. Yeah. And getting to know all our Patreon supporters. So we really do appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
And just a little bit about our podcast, quick. If you are a newer listener, we are here to just be a support to you and encourage you. And we also want you to feel like you are doing enough. You are doing a great job right where you are, right where you're at, right who you are today. And we always have lots of good pointers and stuff, but we also want you to just feel like you're enough right now.
For sure.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. And so hopefully even... hopefully you might feel like you could even do less. You could maybe...
Yeah. We want to take things off your plate, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully maybe today you'll feel like that after our conversation.
Exactly.
Okay. So Maren,
yes.
before we get started on that conversation, I have to know, because we are both Busy Phillips fans.
We are.
We kind of stalk her Instagram.
As does,
most people.
Millions of other people.
Lots of other people. So her show premiered last night. And did you watch it?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, no.
I don't have Entertainment Network. We cut the cord on cable a long time ago. And, actually, we have a very basic cable package because of just, it's cheap. It was cheaper. It was cheaper for us to do that. But it does not include E. So very sad.
So you just kind of gave up and you thought, I'm not going to get to watch this.
Well, you know me. I like to work around systems. So I kind of thought, there's got to be a way for me. I mean, I scoured the internet trying to find a way to watch it last night. I downloaded the E app thinking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd get to watch it on the E app. No. And I looked on YouTube. I looked everywhere.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Could not find it.
I watched it.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous. I can't believe that because I know for sure you
I don't have cable.
Yeah.
I don't have cable, but I also Googled how to watch Busy Tonight several times and went through the articles.
I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet.
How to watch shows.
Yeah. Well, how to watch this show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, it just premiered. And so I was like, maybe they don't have that figured out yet. Or, I don't know. So anyway, I did lots of Googling. And I found out if you get the E app and you have a cable provider's login information, then you can watch it. And so I did that. I used my mom's dish info. I don't know if she even knows, because she let me borrow it once a long time ago to watch a football game.
It's just a half
and
an
I
hour.
still have it.
So it's so funny because you are such a rule follower in so many ways, but not always about everything. Because you're a questioner.
I'm a questioner. I hope she doesn't get in trouble for this. I hope they can't tell. But
okay.
Sorry, Mom. Anyway,
okay.
So
we share our Netflix with my sister for the same
you
reason.
do?
We're like, we
do.
She has her own she has a profile.
That's
on
interesting. Because that's kind of cheap. I mean, it's not like cable. Netflix is like $7.99 a month.
I know. Well, someday we're going to cut the cord, Amanda. But
okay. So the only issue was it said that it was showing, or it was going to be on at 10 o'clock, I think. Or 11. No, it said 10. It said 10. But I was like, is that Central Time? Nobody is saying.
I know.
What is Central Time? And so I was like, that's okay. Don't worry. I'm just going to try it at 10.
Be fine.
And actually, and I go to bed every night at 9, and I've been so good about this.
Yeah.
I like sleep is super important to me, but I was like,
Good for
it's
you.
okay. You can ruin it one night.
Yep.
Um,
For busy.
for busy. And so I logged in at 10 and it wasn't on. It was like the keeping up with the Kardashians was on
Oh gosh.
for an hour, and then busy was going to be on at 11. And I think they replayed it because I think then I read on there, then it finally said 10:09 Central. So I think it was on at 9.
It was.
And then they replayed it at 11.
And I know that because I watched her Instagram story of her going on stage.
Oh, but it's not live.
It was. It was right before then. Yeah.
It was live?
I think so.
I thought she taped it earlier in the day.
I don't know. Or maybe they just played the Instagram story right at that time.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But they did it at the same time, like, as it was going to start playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, then I had the conundrum. Do I sit here on the couch? I didn't watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I could have. What was I thinking? I could have watched that. I didn't.
I've never watched that show. I don't have any interest.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of like, maybe I could just see what it's about.
Why not?
I didn't do that. I scrolled on my phone and waited 1 hour until 11.
You did not.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I was like, you've already ruined bedtime. Might as well just stay up.
Oh my gosh.
So I stayed up till 11 and watched it. And it was really good.
Wow.
It was great. It was worth it.
Oh,
It was not like other late night shows.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. Somebody on her Instagram commented that she's like the Mr. Rogers for adults. Mr. Rogers neighborhood for adults. And it was. That is what it felt like.
Really? In what way? In what way? Can you
It just
expound?
felt like homey.
Okay. I did see the set because I saw on Instagram a picture of she had Mindy Kaling on.
Yes.
Right? And I just saw the set on the photo.
Yeah, it felt homey. She sang as she's like walking around the house.
Oh my gosh.
She was saying how glad she is that we're all there.
Aww.
And I don't know.
She's such a feeler. She's a
feeler.
And I mean, I she's a sensitive person, a very sensitive person, so you can, I was hoping like her personality would come out
for
like
sure.
that. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. It was very good. Yeah. I liked it. And I love Mindy Kaling too. So
I know.
that was part of the reason that I was like, I should stay up and watch this because I really like her.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Have you read her book? I'm listening to her second book.
No, I've only listened to her first book.
Yeah,
or read
book.
her first book.
Me too. And I thought that was
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it,
Okay.
but it wasn't like my favorite.
Okay.
I'm listening to her second one, Why Not Me? It's
Yeah.
really good.
Okay.
I love it. I love it so much. You should listen.
I will definitely. I'm going to go download that right after this.
Yeah.
Because
It's really good.
I love comedy memoirs are like becoming my new favorite.
And it's read by her. So I was thinking, why didn't I listen to this on audio before? Why did I read her first one? I bet I would have liked her first one.
Yeah, that's probably
better
true.
had I listened.
Probably true. Yep.
So.
Yep. Totally. Well, I am going to find a way to watch that this week.
What do you mean?
I may be texting your mom. I was thinking, it's on Hulu Live.
That's
right?
what I read somewhere in one of my Googlings.
Because, I have a soft spot for Hulu because of 30 Rock.
I know. That's Hulu Live is so expensive, but it might be worth it. I mean, it's still cheaper than cable.
And speaking of Mindy Kaling, I want to watch her show, and it's only on Hulu too.
Right. Right.
It's not on anymore, but
The Mindy Project.
The Mindy Project. Yeah.
That's the whole reason I've been keeping Hulu, because I've been wanting to watch it, but I haven't yet.
Maybe you and I should just make a pact to like watch it in November.
Oh, and then we could talk about watch these episodes and then we'll talk about it. It's like a book club. If I have a deadline,
yes,
then I will.
Ooh, I'm into it.
Yeah,
I'm really into it. Sounds good.
Okay. So, if you watched Busy tonight, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Always.
Yeah.
We always love to hear what you're thinking. All right. So we are going to start finally get to our main topic, which is, this is a topic you and I talk about so often, and we decided to make it official into an episode.
Yeah. And we talk about it like on Voxer a lot, just informally.
Yes.
As we are homeschooling.
Yes. And it's kind of a backdrop to our homeschooling experience. So it sometimes maybe hasn't always felt like the main topic of conversation, but we really decided, you know what? This is something that's so important to us. We need to talk about this.
Right. So interest-led learning.
Yes. So
what we're diving into.
Yeah. And we're having this conversation not because we know what we're doing necessarily in this topic. And if you are a new listener, you will come to realize this is how we talk about everything. We are not the one place that has, we're not the basis of all information on these topics, but we are definitely, we are great at processing things.
Yeah, we're just sharing our experiences.
Yes.
And also talking about it because it's something that I would like to get better at, or that I would like to learn more about.
Yeah.
And so since we talk about this and we process a lot just outside of the podcast, we thought, well, let's just do it on the podcast. So we might get some like terminology incorrect, or like we
definitions.
Some experts might disagree with us, but this is just like our perspective and where we're coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
And we also don't necessarily think, I think these are just like kind of disclaimers. So we do not want to offend anyone in these conversations. This is not something we feel like anybody should always do all the time. It's something to consider. It's a topic that may be good for your family, may not. I don't know. But like, it's something good to hear about and maybe dive into a little bit.
For sure. Yes. Okay. So what even is interest-led learning? Let's start there.
What even is it?
What is it? Okay.
So, I think when I think of interest-led learning, my first thought is, and this is not an official definition because it just came in my brain, being in tune with your children enough to know how they work best, how they learn best, and then kind of letting them make choices about how they're going to learn, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's a very simple, baseline definition.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. Sounds really official too.
How about you? Can you think?
I think that sounds great. That sounds great. I feel like it's about letting your kids, when they have an interest, letting them go with that.
Yes.
And not trying to control that.
Yeah.
Or manipulate it into something that looks acceptable to you.
So that it feels good, like good, they're learning.
Yeah, right.
To you.
And to me, right. Yeah, it's just kind of letting it fly. And so some examples, we have some examples of that are like, okay, so there are some examples that look more traditional, like learning an instrument or
sport.
Excelling at a sport,
right?
Or being really interested in coding,
right,
something like that,
or like a history. Sometimes I think it feels good to us as adults when our kids are really interested in World War II or something,
right?
That we kind of wanted them to learn about anyway. So it's like, oh, great, they're learning. They want to learn about World War II. Let's go down this path now. That's great.
That's great, and it looks good to the grandparents.
It looks great to the grandparents. They're very happy about that.
Yep. But like, what if your child is really interested in like, cardboard creations?
Yes.
or like cutting paper, or something that's more messy or annoying.
Yeah, or Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
Ouch. Did I just touch a button already? Yeah. And just started this. There are some things where we're like, well, that's great. It's great that your kids like to do baking. My kid likes to Minecraft, and that's not good.
Yeah.
Or there's so many things where you might be like, why can you just have another interest? Yeah. So
Yes.
I think interest-led learning is a lot of, like you said, not controlling those interests.
And like validating that their interests are worthy.
Yeah.
You know, even if their interest is Minecraft or if their interest is, wrestling.
Yeah.
Or, jumping on the trampoline.
Right.
Or
yeah. And I think interest-led learning, I think, doesn't mean they get to play Minecraft all day or they do whatever it is all day long necessarily. Some kids really like to dive into things deep, and some kids like to just learn, dip their toe in.
Yeah.
So, for example, like my daughter several years ago was super interested in Amelia Earhart and Eleanor Roosevelt because of this book we had, which is an amazing book, by the way. We still have it and I love it. I think it's called Amelia and Eleanor Go for a Ride.
Okay.
It is so good. But we read that book and she was on this kick with these two amazing women. And, my this one looked good, right? On paper.
You were like, this is amazing. I am rocking interest-led learning.
Exactly. It's like, I am so good at this. And it's so, like I downloaded all the videos and checked out every children's book about these two women. And that was a topic that my daughter wanted to dip her toe in. And so I had all these books and I had to hold myself back. I had to be so conscious of myself all day long. Like, stop talking about it, Maren. Like, just get a hold of yourself, because the more I pushed it, the less she wanted to hear about it.
For sure.
So
you almost have to. I mean, it's about being hands off. You almost have to be hands off.
Yeah, in many ways, unless your child is ready for you to be hands on with it,
or they're asking for help.
Yes.
Like, can you check me out a book about Amelia Earhart?
Right. And if she would have said, "Mom, can you get me some cardboard so I can make an airplane like Amelia Earhart's?" I'd been like, I will go to the ends of the earth to get cardboard for you. But she didn't. So, like, I'm not going to push that on her.
Right. Well, yeah, you're going to try not to push that on her.
Try really hard not to push that on her. But when it comes to interest-led learning, that's my tendency, is to like, I see an inch, I'm going to push a mile. And so that can be pretty detrimental. I've learned.
For sure. Because what you do then is, not only do you you're sending her a message. You're sending her a message that, okay, this is a good interest to have. You like Amelia Earhart?
Yeah.
That is amazing. I'm going to validate that by getting you all the books and documentaries.
Yeah.
But this other interest you have, like watching YouTube or doing Minecraft, I'm going to try and limit your time doing that.
Right.
It's not as good.
Yeah.
And so we're inadvertently sending messages about the kinds of things that they're interested in.
Yeah, we're valuing their interests. You're so right. And a lot of times, even the interest that you're not super happy about, they're passing anyway. So it doesn't, just validate them and they'll probably pass by you. I mean, think of all the interests I had or you had when you were a child or a teenager or a young adult even.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, my goodness. Those things don't stick around normally, so that's not really probably going to happen.
Probably not.
They're probably not going to be cutting boxes the rest of their lives. So just let them do it now.
Yeah.
It's their time. It's their time to do it.
Right. And another thing that I was thinking about for interest-led learning is that, all right, now this is just what I try to do. After you said this wise thing, I don't know, a couple months ago when we were Voxing, and I've tried to remember it. So the interest-led stuff, the stuff they're really into, should be the stuff that they do most of the time.
Yeah.
Like most of their day is spent doing that. And then there are some things that they have to do. Like maybe you really want them to do math, or maybe you want them to practice cursive or whatever. Those things you try and then fit in around the things that they're interested in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and those things, I mean, there's a lot of have-tos in life. We have to do things. But we shouldn't fill up our whole day with have-tos, because that's just not a fun life. That's not the quality of life is just not there,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I don't want them to think about school or learning as, ugh,
Or their
a bunch
job, or their future job.
yeah, like all these things I have to do and I don't really want to do them.
Yeah, right.
Mostly that's what I'm doing.
Yes. I want them to approach life in this way. Like, I want to figure out what I mostly like to do, and and then I can handle the things I don't like to do.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and that's counterintuitive to the way, most people approach education in our country. So, we want to train our kids to learn how that feels now, so that they're used to those feelings, growing up when they're adults.
So when kids are doing, following their interests, why does that count as homeschool?
I know
Why, when my child wants to wrestle all day, does that does that count?
I know, because most of us are thinking, wrestling? No. Okay, you can do that in between learning, right?
Yeah.
And that's
right.
I think that's our instinct. That's what we think. But when it's interest-led, learning happens very efficiently. And I've said this many times. I'm sorry. I feel like I've broken a record sometimes, but
no,
it's good to hear again. The more you are invested in something, the more you learn.
Right.
The more you care about it, your emotions are tied to it. And if it's something that you're leading, you're planning it, you are invested, you own that.
Yeah.
So learning happens.
Yeah. And even with wrestling.
Yes.
For sure with wrestling.
Yeah.
Because he's learning what his body can do, how far he can push his body, how much he has to back off. Whoever he's wrestling with, is that person stronger than him or weaker than him? And how does he need to adjust?
Exactly.
And lots of emotional and social
oh my gosh.
Things
skills.
He's learning.
So many skills.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's learning, okay, so I got to stay in this area. I'm going to push till I get this far and then I'm going to stop. Or, these are things we as parents, as adults, don't necessarily even value. Even the spatial skills there are just,
Or it's not that we don't, maybe we value it.
Yeah.
We just don't even think about it.
We don't think it's happening.
Yeah. We don't stop to think all the things that are happening during that time.
Yep. We just think, oh, wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Somebody's going to break an arm. That's what,
Yeah, right.
But I think I think that's so great. I mean, even, my son, is when my son does that too, I think the same thing. And I also think he's learning, he's not always into that as much as, other boys his age sometimes. But he's learning to speak up for himself and say, I got to stop now. Or,
for
so
sure.
it's even just that, having those boundaries and learning when to,
yes.
okay, I'm comfortable with this. I'm comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with this. I'm going to back away.
That is so important.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I want my kids to learn that. I want my kids to know, when to say no.
Yes, exactly.
When something's uncomfortable and you say no.
Yep.
Yeah.
And those are priceless skills. And I think if we fill our day up with all the have-tos, it's all coming from the parent or the teacher down, to the children and saying, this is what we're doing all day long. And these are the have-tos all day long. Then where does their voice come in there?
Yeah.
And so they're kind of learning, well, okay, I have to do these things. I don't have a voice in this.
Right. So that reminds me of this quote I read. Just happened to. Last night I was reading after I watched Busy Tonight. I couldn't sleep.
Yes,
of course.
I know.
So I had my Kindle and I'm reading Ta-Nehisi quotes Between the World and Me, which I'm sure many of you have read, but this is my first time reading it. Really good. And he's not even talking about homeschool or anything like that. But I came across this quote and it blew me away. It says, I was made for the library, not the classroom. The classroom was a jail of other people's interests. The library was open, unending, free.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking classroom can mean like, meaning he's saying it's a jail of other people's interests. Well, that can be like my interests on my kids too.
Right. It could be your living room. Yeah.
Could be the jail of my interests.
Yep.
Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
really think these, 5 things are important that you do. And your stuff that you're interested in, yeah, we can fit that in, like when you're taking a break from all the other things that I want you to do.
Sure. That's so
Yeah.
true. Yep, it's so true. And also, I think what happens is we think these 5 things maybe are the most important things. A lot of times the 5 most important things in education are do not include people skills necessarily,
Yeah.
or executive functioning skills, like everyday life, planning, problem solving, those kind of things that like interest-led learning naturally includes those things.
Right.
Very
For sure.
naturally. It just happens. And I think a lot of interest-led learning actually includes a lot of academics too.
Oh, yeah.
For example, I have a child who is huge into restaurants right now. So she creates restaurants in our house almost at least once a week. I mean, and so there's a lot of writing that happens, planning a menu, writing it all down, copying it, giving it to everybody, and then everybody else reads the menu. And then, there's fake money involved or whatever. And so like there's math. And then, so like there's so many things in there that it is academic learning too.
For sure.
So, and so we have to count that. We
Oh my
have to
gosh.
give, even though
Yes.
it didn't, we didn't pull out a page in the curriculum and finish that page. The learning did happen. So
For sure.
Yeah.
And it was cemented or solidified or whatever the word is in her brain because it was something she was enjoying doing and something she was planning versus the next page in the math book.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why that kind of thing has to be, in my mind, like the main part of the day. And there can be math outside of that time, but it's just not going to be the kind of math that necessarily sticks with you. So it can happen. It's just, it can't be relied on as like the thing they're going to remember for the rest of their lives. They're going to remember the restaurant.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
And so hard.
And so hard to let go of.
I struggle with this.
Yes.
So hard to let go.
Yeah.
And so, okay, I have a question for you. Interest-led learning. Now, in the past, when I've thought of it, or even recently, I've wondered, or I thought, I'm not very good at that because I'm not good at like, creating projects.
Yeah.
And things for my kids' interests. Like, I'm not creative enough when my kid is interested in airplanes to design like a whole unit or study on airplanes. And is that, in your mind, interest-led learning, or is that something different?
Yeah, I think that's more of that's maybe project-based learning.
Okay.
Which maybe kind of seems like it's more parent-led, because, depending on what the project is, did the child, I don't think you have to be creative at all necessarily if it's interest-led learning.
That's a
child
relief.
is thinking, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a relief.
Yeah.
I mean, because I sometimes see, or I feel, I guess, okay, I feel guilty when my child is interested in airplanes for not like, oh, we could do a writing project on airplanes, or we could do, we could read books about airplanes. We could watch documentaries about airplanes. Like I am not capitalizing on their love of airplanes.
Yeah.
I'm letting that opportunity slip by.
Well,
and so I can tend to feel guilty.
Yeah, I know. But that does come back to that. I think some of that might be okay, but like you have to know your limits, and where as soon as there's pushback, then the learning isn't probably going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And then, were they interested in learning about some aspect of the airplane, or were you interested in that aspect? And so it can get that detailed where it's like, well, I'm not interested in that part of it. So the learning might not happen. I think, you have to be in tune with how far your kids are willing and able to go in these endeavors.
Right. Right. Because like you might just overdo it and squash their love of airplanes with your writing projects and your
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the whole point is to foster the love of learning.
And sometimes that just means getting out of the way.
Yeah. A lot of times it does. And
I think because you're getting out of the way and you're like so hands off, you're thinking, well, I must be doing this wrong.
Yeah.
Probably doing this wrong because I'm not doing anything. So I think it can be really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, because we haven't really been taught to kind of trust our children.
Yeah.
Or really even to trust our own feelings on how like this is going.
Yeah.
If it seems a little too easy, then it seems like wrong, or
Right. Right.
It's if we're not going deep, we're not going super deep into a topic, then it seems like, well, we haven't learned enough yet.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But the thing is, like, I thought that, when my son was into World War II, he's not learning everything he needs to learn about World War II. Well, he is
so much.
He's 8. Like he can learn about one airplane and, or, we can read one book and it's just so good for him.
And he'll come back to it later.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Sometime when he's interested again and learn something else.
Especially if I don't push it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's how we do it. That's how I learn about World War II.
Yes.
I get on a kick, I read a few books, and then I'm off of it for a while, and then I learn something else later.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I think this is maybe the trickiest question. How do I even do this interest-led learning? How do we even do this? If I am a parent who's more comfortable doing more structured learning, having curriculum, and that's how I've learned to teach my kids. That's how I function. How can I do this?
Yeah, I think you have to start small.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, always start small. So I don't think this is going to be like, okay, everybody, we're switching things up. We're going to do interest-led learning now.
Yeah,
put away all the books and whatever. I don't think that's the way to handle it because kids and you and everybody are going to wonder what's going on, and you have to just try it little by little to see how it works for your kids. Your child might want a more traditional schooling experience.
Right.
And that is great too.
Totally.
You might be more comfortable with that.
Yes.
So you have to know yourself and your kids, and so I think just trying a little bit at a time is good.
Yes. Interest-led might even be curriculum for some kids. It might be sitting at a table and doing the traditional things.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would just suggest, like, that thing that your child wants to do when they're not, quote unquote, doing school, I would allow that to happen. A little bit, even. Just a little bit. Maybe you start with like 15 minutes or half an hour and put it front and center and call it school.
Yep. And I would say a big part of that is just noticing. What are those things?
Yeah.
Maybe this week, just start thinking about what those things are. What does my kid like to do when when they don't have to do anything? What do they like to do? Right. Yep. And then just, try it out. Maybe extend that time a little bit, or, and then notice like what happens when they get to do that more. Is it more peaceful in your house, or are there more connections? Right. How did everybody feel after that time? Right.
Yeah, that's so good. And then you can evaluate after that, do we want to do more of that? Did that not work? But I would give it a good try. If you think that this is a path you want to try, I would give it a good try.
And I would say also, interest-led learning does not mean like take away all the rules and it's just free for all. a child might say, I want to do this. I want to do something, and you might be like, well, okay, this is not something we've ever done before. I would only feel comfortable if we have these parameters or something. I do that a lot. Like, okay, like this morning, my children made an airplane in my living room, in our living room. We were on an airplane a couple of weeks ago, so it's top of mind. So they, simulated an airplane, and I was like, okay, that's fine. You can't use these things in the cupboard for, airplane snacks. Like, and, you can't use the good glasses or something to serve on the airplane, or I don't know. They have to respect your parameters there too.
For sure.
In a way, because that's real life too.
Yeah. Yep. Or you can do this for this amount of time.
You can do this for this amount of time, and then we really need to get this other thing done. And that's important.
Yeah. But I think putting it front and center, putting it in the schedule or naming it just gives it value, and it tells your kids like, yeah, this thing that you're into, this is important. Yeah. And I see you, and I want to honor the things that you're really into.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we often call these things, in between work, brain break, but really, we have to maybe even just in our own mind, think about it differently. Like that's actually the brain building part of their day. It could be, that could be the thing where they're learning the most, they're learning the most.
Yeah. I don't like the term brain break. I think we should probably ban that term.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Because everything is using your brain. Your brain is working all the time.
Yes. So you're so right.
So your brain's not getting a break, but maybe your brain's working in a different way.
In a different way, yeah. I feel like it could be diffusing. It could be a brain diffuser. Like
yeah.
But also, it's not just like time off, like you said. It's not. Your brain is working so much, and I think it's so important for us as the adults in our children's lives, the main adults, is, to give them value, give their brains value, like they are working so hard, even when they're jumping on the trampoline or, riding bikes. That is so good. That is so good.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing with this, when you give it a try, I would just suggest it's not something that you add on to the end of your day when you are finished with all your other important stuff. Or it's not something that gets added on at all, like at any part of your day. It's something else is going to have to be given up.
Something has to die.
Something has to die for this new life to form.
Yeah.
No. Something else in your schedule might need to even just temporarily go away.
Sure. Yep. And if you're not, I think that's great to say temporarily, because you can always say, we're just not going to do math today. Or not, maybe you're not going to just cut out math. You're just going to do it for less time. Or,
right.
It can be pretty minor. It doesn't have to be a huge, like you said, doesn't have to be like a huge lifestyle change.
No, right. It should start small.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of been our family's progression anyway. And so over years of time, I think this is our 8th year of homeschooling. And I think over these 8 years, I've done more and more interest led. I've been more and more okay with it, and more like hands off and not like meddling and trying to control their interests. And that has worked for us. I feel like I needed that. I needed that time, all those years to figure this out.
Yeah, and it does help because, my youngest is 7, and I just remember when my oldest was 7 feeling so much anxiety when she was 7, like she's not doing all the things I think she needs to be doing. She, whatever. Yeah. I had, that's when I had the grandiose plans for a day, and they never panned out. But now I see where she is now, my oldest, and I just can relax about my 7-year-old. Like she's gonna be fine.
When your kids get older, that is when you can relax. You're right. I think that's why I'm more relaxed as a parent with my youngest is not because it's just I see my oldest and I see, oh, she's fine.
Yeah.
This is going to be fine. I can relax.
Yes. And now that I've seen the progression from, even 7 to 11 and how I feel like, she's doing so great, I can see I need to continue that expectation going on even with my oldest. Like she was fine at 7 when I was worried. She's fine at 11 and I have to stop worrying because she's going to be fine at 16.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's going to be okay.
Yep.
And this is working.
That.
This is working.
Yep.
All
well, if you have thoughts on interest-led learning, or I would love to hear them.
Yeah, me too. We'll definitely have to have some discussions in our Facebook group, Unrefined Homeschoolers.
Yep.
Find us and join. And also just on Instagram really Instagram is where we like to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Should we move on to loving this week?
Yes.
All right.
Angela, what are you loving this week?
Okay. So a couple weeks ago, I think, we had the talk about leggings and boots.
Yeah.
Right? Was that 2 weeks ago?
I can't even remember anymore, but it was an important topic.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. The weeks kind of jumbled together. But we kind of talked about how, we're not quite sure how to wear leggings and jeans with boots.
Yeah.
What kind of boots do you get in this cold climate? We're in Minnesota, so it's just hard to know.
And it's so important in Minnesota to have boots. I mean,
yes.
Boots.
Yeah. And so we got lots of feedback, which was so great. So many of you messaged us or put comments on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. And so I checked out everybody's comments to find what I was looking for. Anyways, I found some great leggings that I love.
Awesome.
Now, they're not, we wanted fleece lined, and I still haven't found a great fleece lined legging, or a really warm legging.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any suggestions for those, that'd be great. But I found these from Athleta. They're from their Power Vita fabric, which I just happened to order.
Awesome.
And I tried them on, and it feels like warm butter. Maybe not warm butter.
Wow.
It feels like
sold.
A warm hug around your legs. It's soft. You're laughing. It's not really butter.
This is the most descriptive you've been about any clothing item. I'm in.
They are smooth and warm and soft.
Are they hard to get on? Do you have to pull them open and pull,
No, I know what you mean because I have a pair of those. No.
Good.
I have a pair of those and I was like, are these too small for me? Or what? These, I feel like.
Well, some of them are just the fabric is not
so tight.
Yes.
Yeah. No, these are not like that.
Oh, good.
In fact, I love these so much. I was like, should I just have Maren try these on?
I should.
She'd probably
I might have to.
Yeah. Or just even feel them with your hand.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so they're Power Vita fabric, and the kind I got was Salutation Stash Pocket.
Nice.
Because it has a pocket on the side.
I'm so glad the pocket thing is happening with women's clothing.
Seriously.
It's a revolution. And I'm on board.
It is. And I actually got 2 pair because I was just like,
awesome.
I'm going to live in these things.
Yep.
I am. And I already have been living in them for the past week, probably every day. So they're kind of spendy for leggings. I mean, yeah, you can get leggings cheaper at Target and Costco. You can. Yeah. But I have Athleta leggings from 5 years ago that I still wear. And they still seem like new. So I'm sold on Athleta leggings.
Yes.
They'll last longer.
Oh, because, anything. I mean, I think you kind of get what you pay for with leggings. Yeah, I mean, as far as how long they're going to last, probably.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yep.
Okay, and then this is a double LTW.
Ooh.
Because I also have a pair of boots.
Oh,
okay.
Good.
So people suggested boots. I needed short. I needed ones that could go through water and slush.
Yes.
You could wear them with leggings or skinny jeans.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody in our Voxer group, Katie, so shout out Katie, suggested duck boots.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I was thinking of duck boots. Actually, that's what I had in mind when I was saying this, but I was like, duck boots aren't like a thing anymore. That was like 20 years ago. Nobody wears duck boots
they're
anymore.
back in.
So they are.
They are.
They're back in.
Yeah.
And I got some, and I love them. So
That's
the kind
so
I got,
awesome.
the kind I got is Sperry.
Oh, yeah.
The brand Sperry.
Okay. I've heard of it.
Sperry Saltwater. I'll put a link in the show notes. They're, again, a little spendy. But I feel confident that I'm going to wear these a lot. I'm already wearing them a lot.
Oh, my goodness. I can't wait to see those.
Yeah. Thanks.
Wow. You're ready.
Yes.
You're ready for this.
I'm ready now. Well, I would like a pair of wool or fleece leggings.
Yes, I know. I do need to go. I'm sure I do have a pair of fleece leggings from the Gap.
Yeah. The one pair.
The one pair, I cannot find them online. So,
yeah.
does that mean they're not making them anymore? Ugh.
Some people said when they commented to us said they wear 2 pair of leggings, which, you know,
wow,
I
yeah.
can see that. That's a good solution.
Mm-hmm.
It's an okay solution. Yeah. But we just need warm leggings, too.
We do. We do. We just do. Then another, like, a long sweater to keep our bums warm, too. Even over the warm leggings, because that's how cold it gets here.
I've never heard you use the term bum.
I know. I don't know what's appropriate
came
on
out.
this website. on this podcast.
That was good. It's a safe one. Okay.
I don't know.
So, all right, Maren, what are you loving this week?
What I'm loving is not even half as cool as what you are loving this week. But it's an app that we're using to train our dog.
Oh,
and it's called GoodPup. I'm sorry for all the non-dog owners right now. I'm so sorry, because I remember when I was not a dog owner and I was like, I don't want to hear about your dog.
I was so annoyed with dog owners when I didn't have a dog. I totally
sorry,
get it.
All of you. Okay, so disregard if you are not a dog owner, but this app is great. It's called GoodPup, and you get online. It's like FaceTime with a dog trainer.
Oh.
So it's once a week. You do a half an hour of training, and it's just so perfect for our family. We have tried dog training at a training center where you go. Okay. We took a class with other dogs, and it was so it was so distracting for our puppy, first of all, at the time, and then for my kids. Like, everybody was distracted all the time. It just did not work. And this is so great. You don't have to go anywhere. You just turn on the app, you open the app, and you connect with this trainer, live trainer right there in front of you. And they take notes on your discussion, and they send you all the notes. And it's just so perfect for what we need.
That's awesome. Do you set up an appointment with somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you can do it right on the app, and you can just say, like, tomorrow I want to meet. You know, like, it's like you don't have to plan way far in advance, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what our schedule is going to be like next week or whatever. So,
for sure.
You know, and so it's so nice just to be able to, like, hop on a day ahead of time and say, let's do this tomorrow at 9.
Yeah. And so do you have a specific thing that you want to talk about, or do you put that when you sign up?
Yes, they ask you a bunch of questions about what you're interested in learning about and where your dog's at. And then also they do have, like, a default plan, so that you can go through their default plan, or if you have something that you really need right away, you can address that first. So
gotcha. Nice.
So it's been great. And
have you used it? And you've used it and it works?
We've done it twice now.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've gotten the same trainer, which I think they try to do. They try to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she is wonderful. So great.
So great. Yeah. And just because I'm curious, is she, like, in her house?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's, like, working from home.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Good gig.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Homeschool Unrefined. We have that closed Facebook group, Unrefined Homeschoolers, that we'd love to have you join. And then we have a website, homeschoolunrefined.com, where you can find links to everything that we talked about. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Homeschool Unrefined is created and produced by Maren Gorse and Angela Sizer. Ethan Miller is our editor, and Amanda Ginn is our VP of all the important things.